God should do this for a reason. In 1 Corinthians 12:27, it says, "Now you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it." So if you think that you don't need church, God is saying that the church needs you. And this is such an interesting perspective because a lot of people have gone out of the church due to church hurt and people hurting them in their churches, tough communities, or even the pastors. This is a very common misunderstanding that happens where the pastor is supposed to be this like powerful leader, a good influence on their church because they're leaders. I mean, leaders should be the ones that are setting a good example, or, should be that. But at the same time, leaders should not be idolized where they're these perfect people or these people that know everything, because leaders can know just as much information as the body of the church, and the church is the people. It's not just the location, right? So, at least in my church, I might not always need to go to church in order to submit prayer requests or in order to feel more joy from anything heartbreaking that's happening to me. But I go because I know that God has a purpose for me there. I go because I know that God is calling me to serve someone there. I might not need it, but someone else needs me, and it's such an interesting perspective to think about, because it's like you would think like, oh well, but there's so many other people at the church, like God doesn't need me to be there. No, he does. He wants you there because he wants you to serve there. It might be a little bit different for each person, on how he wants you to serve. But for me, like right now, I'm starting to serve as a greeter, and I'm starting to serve as worship in other places, or I'm starting to serve as just praying for people. Like, you can serve in any way, and the smallest ways can make the biggest changes, can produce the biggest impact when done correctly, because that's God's will. He says the church is the body of Christ, and that means that when you say you love God and you don't love the body, which if you don't love the body, you're not willing to go to the body. If you say that, then do you really love God? And that's if if you don't know that, that's okay. Like, God, not necessarily that it's okay for you to do that, but it's like God knows your heart, and he sees your heart, and he sees your mind and how much you know and how much you don't know, and he's not gonna completely hold that against you if you didn't fully understand that, and that's okay. But what isn't okay is knowing